Fantastic. I think we are all here now. So welcome back to our last week of this half term. Actually, I can't believe how quickly it's flown by, bearing in mind we haven't actually been at school. It's been quite incredible, really. So I hope everybody's well. It's had a really good weekend. And let's hope we have a really nice assembly. So let's start with a song. So let's pull that up. So hopefully you can all see that. And let me just make sure I can see everybody. There we go. Okay, really want to see those actions this time. And I have to say, when I was watching this back on the YouTube channel last week, some of the singing was a bit quiet. So I think you just need to let it all go, be really positive, and let's really hear you this time. Let's see those thumbs. It's another new day. Get your feet dancing to your feet. Get your body moving. Raise and shout. It's another new day. Wake up, give yourself a shake. Get your body moving. Reach up, jump, it's another new day. Wake up, get your body moving. Reach up, jump, it's another new day. Get your feet dancing to the beat. Get your body moving. Raise and shout. It's another new day. It's another new day. Get your feet dancing to the beat. Get your body moving. Raise and shout. It's another new day. It's another new day. Wonderful. Well done, everybody. Okay. Well, like I said, I hope everyone's had a really nice week last week and a lovely weekend. Let's work our way round. Mrs. Turnbull, how about you? How was your week and weekend?
Well, I decided to be really adventurous on Saturday and we went for a very, very long walk. It was about 10 miles. We walked all the way from Westgate over the hills, all the way to Cows Hill, and then all the way back again. And I did see Kyle, Callum, Freya, Emily, and Jessica playing in the field at their farm. I mean, wave safely from a distance. But I didn't see anybody else on my walk. But I was very achy yesterday. Very achy. I had to have a hot bath and I had to sort of just sit around a bit yesterday because it was a long way. Mrs. Turnbull's legs aren't used to it.
That is a long way. It must be. Oh, that must be over 20,000 steps, I would imagine.
Oh my goodness. Yes, probably.
I'm not surprised you've got achy legs. I would have too. How about you, Mrs. Stenbridge? How was your week and weekend?
It's been fine. We've had some more animal visitors to our house, though.
Oh, no.
No snakes, no mice, but My husband went to put an empty wine bottle in our recycling box yesterday, and he came back in and he was like, "You will never believe what is in the recycling box." So we went out, 2 bats.
Wow.
Wow!
2 bats sleeping in the recycling box. One of them was in an empty jar of Nutella. We were a bit worried that there might be something wrong with them, but we do have bats like that come round our house. They live in the quarry, so we kept checking on them. And then, but when it got dark, they disappeared because it's recycling day tomorrow. So I wouldn't have known what to have done if they were still in there.
Wow.
So
They're very cute.
we've got bats and we've got snakes. Are you just practicing for Halloween, Mrs. Stembridge?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
sounds like it. I've got a friend who lives up in the Lake District, and she sent me a photograph a couple of weeks ago of an owl that landed in an owl box that they'd put in their garden. And she sent me a photograph yesterday of the most incredible owl chick that has just emerged from it. It's a very strange looking thing. I don't think I've seen a picture of an owl chick before, but they don't look anything like a proper owl. But that was fascinating. How about you, Mrs.
We do have bat boxes. We've got bat boxes that we carefully put on the wall about 3 years ago, but they don't go in there. They just want to be in a Nutella jar.
Nutella jar. Well, there's a tip for everybody. How about you, Mrs. Hallilay?
Oh, well, I've had a very busy weekend too. While I have been at home, I've been doing a mass clean out and a mass sort out. Been doing lots and lots of jobs in the house and in the garden. And we thought it would be a very good idea to clean the garage out at the weekend. And my garage is very, very cluttered. There's not a lot of room in there to walk around. So I've spent the whole of Saturday throwing things out and reboxing things. And I have to say, it does look really, really good. In fact, I've been into the garage a few times. I've just opened the door and switched the light on and just looked at the amazing space that is now in my garage. But I was very achy and very tired on Sunday after doing that.
Well, by the sound of that, do you think you could come and do mine if I keep socially distant?
No.
Phoebe, are you okay? That was quite a sneeze.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good, I'm pleased. Mrs. Hayes, are you there? How are you?
We're fine, thank you very much. Yes, we've been doing lots of walking.
I saved a bee.
She saved a bee.
Okay.
Our cat keeps bringing in, extra visitors as well, so we have to deal with that. But I have actually entered our garden, Carrie, you'll like this, on the Chelsea The One Show competition.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a competition that's on. I mean, because there's no Chelsea Flower Show, is there? But the picture that I've sent them is of the allotment and of the chickens and the ducks.
Oh,
We had to write 250 words about how your garden is helping you in these troubled times.
It gives us
Oh, what a nice thing to do. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Good luck for that one.
Yeah.
Mrs. Corbett, nice and quietly, we'll come to you next.
Well, I have been busy-ish, but Mr. Corbett's been even busier. He started his holidays Friday tea time, so he has 2 weeks uninterrupted, no telephone calls for work, which is quite nice. But he is currently converting a vintage caravan to be a mobile florist shop for me.
Wow.
Yeah. So that'll be school holidays and weekends. Yeah. So I would like to say I've been supervising, but I haven't really.
Sounds very exciting, Mrs. Corbett.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right, well, let's have a rundown. How about the Daltons? How are all of you?
Good, thank you.
Ex-
We have new calves.
New baby calves.
2 calves, fantastic.
Oh, wow.
And do they have names, or have you just got too many to give them all individual names?
Yeah,
Yeah, but they're totally opposite cows. There's a black bull and a red heifer girl.
Wow. And someone's getting a phone call.
Yeah,
Well, we'll let Mummy answer the phone, and we will go to the Englishes. How are the Englishes? Give us a wave if you can hear us.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you all well?
Yeah.
Good. Done anything exciting all week? Or have you just been busy doing your usual things?
We've just been on our bikes. We've just
Excellent.
been to the park, but we've been on the grass riding on our bike.
Excellent. Well, it's a bit nice now. We've got a bit more time to be able to get out. Now we can go out more than once for our exercise, which is nice for everybody. Sammy, how are you?
Okay.
Good. What's happened to Layla this morning? Is she busy doing something else?
Yeah, she's busy.
Okay, that's fair enough. We've got lots and lots to be doing, so it's good to see you. Alexander, how are you?
Good.
Excellent. You had a
How was
good
your
week?
experiment?
Yeah, on the weekend, and there was a beaver camp at home thing.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic. So did you put a tent up in your garden?
Yeah, we put our tent up in the garden and slept in the tent.
Wow.
Wow, brilliant.
Was it not freezing?
No,
Well, excellent. Well done. I'm really impressed with that.
because I had a big sleeping bag.
Ah, good, good. Because I went camping last year in April, and when I woke up, there was a frost on my tent. I decided I wasn't going to go camping in April again. But I'm glad you had a better experience. How about you, Phoebe? How are you?
I'm good.
And you've saved a bee. Have you done anything else this week that you've enjoyed?
I've painted lots of tiles.
Excellent.
Oh,
And what are you going to?
A very long walks.
Right. And what are you going to do with your tiles once you've painted them? Are they to display outside or?
Well, one of them is for my granddad's birthday tomorrow.
Smashing, that's lovely. Oh, I'm sure he'll enjoy that. Let's have a look. Ava, how are you? Ava's just.
Yeah, really good. Thank you.
Excellent. Anything you've done this week that you want to share? Doesn't matter if there isn't.
Yeah, we also saved a bee.
Oh, right. So it's a bee saving week. Fair enough.
Isn't it like sugar and water? When they put their arms up, you need to give them sugar and water.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, well done.
Almost like nectar. So fantastic. So some real wildlife warriors, I think we've got in Weirhead, which is brilliant. Okay. Right. Well, I thought today, which is the 18th of May 2020, we'd have a think about something because today's a special day. Does anyone know what day today is other than the 18th of May? Any ideas?
Monday.
It is a Monday. Well done, Jack.
The start of school again?
Start school again? No, that's going to be in a couple of weeks, but we've got our fingers crossed for that one, hopefully. No, well, I will tell you. Today is International Museum Day.
Yes.
Okay, International Museum Day. And this date was set a long time ago, weeks and weeks, well, months and months ago. It was a day to celebrate all the fantastic museums, not just in this country, but all around the world. Now, of course, when they set International Museum Day, they were hoping that everyone would be able to go and visit those museums. But of course, things have changed. But International Museum Day is still going on. And I thought, just to start with, I'd share with you a couple of museums, a few museums that I've had the opportunity to visit because I love going to museums. And over my time, I've been to quite a few of them. Some of them, you know, very, very big museums like the British Museum in London and places like that, which are great. I love those. And the Science Museum in London is one of my favourites. But the ones I really love are those museums that surprise me, that I'm not quite expecting or are not exactly what I was expected to see when I got there. So the first one I want to share with you is one that I went to quite recently, and it was in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands. And it's from the outside, let me show you a picture. From the outside, it just looks like a house. quite normal for Amsterdam. I mean, not normal like our houses, but so that's the museum there. And you go in, and when you go in, it is just like a normal house in Amsterdam, but how it was about 300 or 400 years ago. So as you go in, you can see that's the kitchen, and there's a cooker there. There's the cooker, and a sink, and a marble slab for preparing things, and nothing quite surprising about it really, other than it's very, very old. Someone's just having a draw on the screen. Perhaps they could clear that for me. There we go. Thank you. And you walk through the different rooms, but when you get to the very top floor, it's quite incredible because the entire top attic is a church. And it's quite hard to see there, but that's on the very top floor. And you walk up this tiny, tiny spiral staircase into what looks like a huge church. There's another picture of the altar. And what it was, about 200 or 300 years ago in Holland, if you were a member of the Catholic faith, you were allowed to be a Catholic and you were allowed to go to church, but the churches couldn't be seen. It wasn't like a church building. All the church buildings were closed down and people had to build churches where they couldn't be seen. And in this house, they built the church up in the attic. So that was a really surprising museum and it was really fascinating. It's called the Church of Our Lord in the Attic Museum in Amsterdam. Now, the next one I'm going to show you, very, very different, because it's a very, very modern building.
Wow.
So there's that huge tower there, and this is the museum here. And that's the Museum of Popular Culture in Seattle, in America. And it's an incredible building. It's designed by an architect called Frank Gehry. And if I just zoom in, there's another picture. That's the entrance.
Wow.
The building's made of metal. And then you go inside. And it's quite hard to see the scale there, but just right down at the bottom is a huge staircase. So it gives you an idea just how big that is. And inside this museum, there's all sorts of things to do with popular culture. So TV, pop music, modern fashion, and the things that we use. And it's a really exciting place to visit. And one of the reasons, this is where I'm getting a bit sad, because I do love Star Trek. And in the museum, they had lots and lots of props and models that they used in the film Star Trek, and costumes and things, which I really enjoyed. But even better, it just so happened when I was there that there was an exhibition of something that I loved all through my childhood, and I still do today. And they had, again, props and costumes and things from the Muppets, because I love the Muppets and the creator Jim Henson, who has created the Muppets, and there were all sorts of things. So there was Kermit, the Count from Sesame Street, and then one of my favorite films that Jim Henson created was a film called The Dark Crystal, and there were lots and lots of puppets from that there, and there was one of the examples. And it was fantastic to see it up so closely, and you see the detail and the time that they'd spent creating that prop for the film. And it really surprised me. It was fantastic, a brilliant museum to visit. Okay, the last one I'm going to share with you on this page is not so far away. It's only 150 miles away from Weirhead, so not that far really, but you have to go across the sea to get there, because it's in Belfast. Now, this museum, again, is another fantastic building. So there's the building. The building, it's next to the water, and the building's designed so that these bits are supposed to look like something. Can anyone guess what those might be meant to be looking like? What do you think, Ava?
Is it meant to look like ships that are coming out of the water?
Absolutely. It's meant to look like ships. And those are supposed to be the prow of the ship. out of the water. And actually, in Belfast, a very, very famous ship was made just over 100 years ago. A really famous ship that a lot of you will have heard of. I'm looking at Phoebe's face, and I think Phoebe has a good idea. What do you think it might be, Phoebe?
The Titanic.
Absolutely. It's the Titanic Museum. And I wasn't particularly planning to go here. I was actually on a trip to go a bit further north in Northern Ireland, but I had some time. Oh, it might be worth a look. And it was absolutely fantastic. The building was great. That's from inside the building. And again, just to give you an idea of the scale, those are the little, that's from the top floor, and those are the people down there. It was an incredible museum to have a look around. And they had all sorts of, obviously the Titanic sank, but they've rebuilt some of the rooms. And inside the rooms, they had these incredible projections of people in costumes, so almost like ghosts of people from the Titanic that were telling the story. And there were lots and lots of other things inside in the museum as well that were brilliant. It was almost like a theme park ride where you got on it and you traveled around the inside of the Titanic. You went down into the engine rooms and up and through. It was just brilliant. Really, really enjoyed that museum. Yes, Ava.
We have once went to, I think it was a hotel, and it was like where, you know how there's water at the seafront, and then it was like a boat at the front of a boat, and it was loads of little windows.
Right.
And made up, so it was the shape of a
So it
boat.
was designed to look like a boat. It's always really interesting, isn't it, to stay in places like that.
The top was over the edge. It was really weird. Yeah, it was called the Deep. It was an aquarium.
Right, in Hull.
Where
Yeah,
we
that's
Yeah.
brilliant. Excellent.
It looks amazing.
Well, thanks for sharing that. So that's another fantastic, not quite a museum, but attraction to visit.
A museum of fish.
A museum of fish, absolutely. Now, when you get to the very top floor and have a look out of the window, you can actually see where the Titanic was built. Now, it doesn't look that impressive, that photograph, to start with, but if you look really carefully on your photograph, you can see a white line running down there and up here. That was where, when the Titanic was finished, that's where the Titanic actually sat in the water. And the little greeny bit there was where the bridge of the Titanic was, where the captain and the crew steered the ship. And these poles either side show how high it came up out of the water to the top of the first deck. And I found that really quite moving to see where the Titanic very first set sail from. So that was a fantastic museum to visit. Really unexpected and really exciting. Now, there are some really strange and weird museums around the world, I have to say. And I had a look this morning, and I was having a look at some of the strangest museums, and I saw museums of all kinds of things. I saw a museum of espionage and spying, which was all about the spies and secret services in different countries. I saw museums of motor cars in Keswick, in the Lake District. In fact, also in Keswick, another really strange museum, a museum of pencils. Bizarre. But I think the strangest one I found, I've got a little clip of. Now, have a look at that photograph. You might get a bit of a clue if you have a look at that photograph of what that museum might be about. Does anyone have any ideas what that might be a museum about? What do we think? What do you think, Poppy? Say that again.
Flags.
Not flags, so that's a really good guess because we've got 3 flags there. What do you think, Phoebe?
Bananas.
Bananas. Yeah. It's a museum of bananas. There's perhaps only one country without trying to be offensive, there's probably only one country where you could find a museum of bananas. Anyone want to have a guess what country that might be?
Banana Land?
Not Banana Land. It's in America. It's in California. But let's have a look at this Museum of Bananas.
At first, when, you know, like friends and things, when I tell them that I did this banana museum, they were just thinking, oh, this is nuts. My wife, you know, when I told her what this venture was going to be, she was horribly humiliated about it. The more I went on eBay or different websites, I got hooked seeing banana items that weren't in the collection. I was going, oh, that's so neat. You know, I really think my guests will enjoy this. I have to get this item. Or it just appealed to me. Oh, okay, I know what we can go with. One of the pieces that I thought was really neat was this blue cobalt banana. You know, blue cobalt glass is so nice, I just had to have it. Here's one of my favorite pieces. It actually has Sheffield's banana-handled knife and fork set, service for 8. We have banana popsicles, banana suntan lotion, banana gum, banana sodas. We have banana nectar, banana bunches, banana rhinoceros, banana putter, banana nail polish, banana kaleidoscope, banana handbags, banana telephone here, banana liqueurs. It's just crazy the things you find in banana form. I want to have a nice patio area here in the back, so when people like are done looking at, you know, all the collection inside, they can sit out here and they can look at the beautiful view of the Salton Sea here and the mountainscape and really see the area that they're in and enjoy the view. Everything in this museum was done by my hand. I placed every item, I hung every picture you see in here, I hung every banana from a raptor. This is really a place of where I can be creative and then actually have people come and enjoy it. You know, of course, I wanted to produce money, but it goes further than that. I just wanted to be a very special, offbeat museum that anybody that came in here would be absolutely enchanted. And then one of my dreams is that it would become like some kind of bucket list icon. Laughter's good for the heart. And I enjoy finding these things. It's fun. You know, everybody has to have their happy place. I would say this is mine. You know, it's very good for the psyche.
So I think the one thing we can say for certain is that chap is absolutely bananas. Who'd like to go to the Banana Museum? Do you know, I think I'd like to go to the Banana Museum. There are all sorts. Oh, bless you, Phoebe.
Thank you.
All sorts of really wonderful museums all around the world. Lots and lots in this country. I remember discovering a museum with all of you not so long ago that I hadn't heard of and had a fantastic time there. That was the Discovery Museum in Newcastle. So lots and lots of museums. Now, the problem is, of course, International Museum Day, we can't go to any. Not even up to the Mining Museum, just up the road, because they're all closed. But there are museums open, but they're open virtually. Okay, you can visit them online. So I've got a challenge for you, a challenge for International Museum Day. Should you choose to accept it, you've got other things to be busy doing, that's fair enough, but it's just something that you might want to have a look at today or this week, see how you get on. Because if you looked at our Way Ahead Warrior on Friday, Mrs. Corbett sent some fantastic links to virtual museums. So the British Museum, there was the Royal Armouries down in Leeds and in London, the Tate Modern Museum, the Great North Museum and the Discovery Museum, And lots of other museums, including some weird and wonderful ones all over the world, have got virtual displays to have a look at. So your challenge this week or today, visit a virtual museum. So just check with mums and dads or whoever looks after your internet that you're okay to do that. And then see if you can find something that's really interesting, funny, or cool to share. Could be funny, interesting, and cool. Okay, so that's your challenge. Add it to your portfolio on Class Dojo, or you could show us at our next assembly in PowerPoint, or you could share a photograph in assembly, or you could just tell us about it. Okay, so there's your challenge, staff. If you want to have a go, feel free. But again, no pressure. That's your challenge for International Museums Day. Okay, so we're just about coming to an end. So I don't know if any staff have got any final messages just before we do our final song and say our goodbyes.
It would be lovely to see as many of Class 2 tomorrow as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So those are our virtual things that are happening, virtual lessons that are happening through the rest of the week. So we've got maths for year 3-4 at 11 o'clock tomorrow, and our Class 2 group chat at 11:30. Then on Wednesday we have got our year 5-6 maths workshop, followed by Class 1 and 1 or 2 others that might want to join us. Story time at 11:30, which Mrs. Hallilay
and I'm looking forward to that. Yes, very much.
So you've got your story all planned, Mrs. Hallilay?
My story's all planned, raring to go.
Wonderful.
I've had a little practice run too.
We'll
so
look
hopefully
forward
it
to
should
that.
all work out.
Fantastic. We're also working very hard this week thinking about all the things we need to do to make sure we're safe to come back to school, if that's a decision that's finally made after half term. We'll be letting you know, and mums, dads and other adults know through newsletters and messages through the rest of this week and next week. So keep your eye out for those as well. As we said last week, we're still not sure yet. Well, obviously the government need to make sure they're absolutely safe that we can do that. But as soon as we know, we will let all of you know, because I know you're dead keen to get back as soon as you can, as are we. Okay, let's have a finish with our song and give it all we've got. Brilliant. Well done, everybody. So if you want to have a look at those photographs again, I'll just have a reminder, we'll put the assembly on our YouTube channel later today. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a really good day. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. 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 Bye.